Hello everyone, this is CagentOvo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and as the dust begins to settle on what truly was an interesting couple of hours where it started off, we were absolutely gutted, we were absolutely depressed at having to watch this team play football under the management of Russell Martin, to getting through that pain, getting through that sadness and seeing that sprinkling of light and that explosion, that euphoria of knowing that not only do we get 2 weeks off having to watch this team attempt to play football, but we were also given the bolt in the heart of finding out that Russell Martin was no longer the Rangers head coach, which I think was badly needed. And as that emotions were rocking us all night last night, it is time to begin to move forward, because where we have sacked Russell Martin, that leaves a very interesting position right here at the football club, and where today's video, I imagine, isn't necessarily the video that a lot of people will be wanting, as you'll be screaming, you'll be hoping for me to sit here and break down names, talk about managers and get involved in the old deep clickbait. I'm not really want to do that yet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not really want to talk about candidates, because I truly believe Rangers haven't spoken to anyone truly in that manner, and I think what we're here to actually talk about the day and the discussion points in the open letter from the chairmans of this football club and the owners of this football club pretty much confirms that as well. So for me to sit here just fire out video after video, name after name, would be a wee bit disingenuous from those that actually take time to watch today's video. So trust me, I know people want to talk about Gerrard, they want to talk about Dyche, they want to talk about everybody but Danny Rowe. I understand all that, but I'm just going to wait for sun to at least fall through the tree before we start going ahead and talking about it. And again, we're actually going to spend our time over the next 10 minutes or so breaking down this open letter, which for me says a lot. Now, of course, I do acknowledge the fact that I'm pretty sure a lot of us would have tuned in and read that statement the second that it came out, and you've already went through it, so you might be ready to hit that wee red X and move away for this video. But I think we're going to try to break down and we're going to dive a wee bit deeper. So even if you've seen, read or heard someone else break down this thing, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of good channels out there doing a lot of good work, that even if you've seen and been other places, we're going to try and pick out some very interesting talking points, and I think hints at where this club's made a mistake, but where this club's trying to correct itself. So that's what we're going to do over the next couple of minutes. And as we go ahead and dive into the opening statement, just a wee brief thank you from me today. I'm not going to take up all your days. You've seen a hell of a lot of me in the last 24 hours, but I fired 2 videos your way in quick succession yesterday, and the support that you guys gave me was absolutely incredible. And again, I didn't take it for granted. The Russell Martin video got over 2,000 likes. Man, it's incredible the support you gave, and just to see your opinions and your comments and how you saw things and where you think we should go, I genuinely find interesting. So from me today, thank you. Now, to start off the old statement, of course, it's just the usual puff piece stuff. Dear supporters, as you have seen by now, we are making a change at Rangers and have parted ways with Russell Martin, Matt Gill and Mike Williamson, with thanks for their hard work. Yeah, thanks lads. Appreciate it. When we took over the club this summer, we shared what we wanted to build for Rangers: to win trophies in Scotland and be able to compete in a high level in Europe. That's a big swing and a miss for that dirty double fail so far. But we move on. We know achieving these goals will take time. Yep, maybe not that much, ladies and gentlemen, but our performances and results have not been good enough. We know you are frustrated. We are too. We did not get this right, and it's our responsibility to fix and get this back on track, which again isn't necessarily an apology or an explanation of why they dragged the arse out of this and allowed this to spiral completely out of control and no hold their hands up sooner and admit what they just have, that they made a mistake. But the fact that they are acknowledging that it was a mistake is at least something. And in a way, it's almost gratifying to hear as a fan, because it's no your fault, it's no us being toxic, it's no us being negative that's pushed a really good manager out the job. That's not what happened at all, no matter the spin or the PR that will come out over the next couple of months as the band starts to get back together and try and reach other jobs. So it's nice to hear that we didn't force a good manager at the football club. We just forced the action that needed to be made, and that was the removal of a bad one. The next part of the statement is for me the biggest and most important part of this one. They go on to say, a rigorous, thoughtful recruitment process is already underway. Now again, That's great. It's lovely to hear, but can I remind each and every single person that's currently watching today's video that Russell Martin apparently had up to 7 interviews / conversations talking about the job. That sounds pretty rigorous to me, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? That's a pretty thoughtful recruitment process in and itself. And the last time this went through this way, we went ahead and made the daftest gamble this club's ever made, despite the fan base screaming and begging for them to go ahead to make it. And where again that does worry me, as it's made of the stuff we heard the last time and made of the reasonings why we hired Russell Martin. The very next line for me is something I can cling on to, as they go on to say, the two of us are deeply involved and the evaluation will have our full attention until we are confident we have the leader with the character and skill set to deliver results. Now again, this might just be me trying to cling onto sunlight and climb up that mountain, but it sounds as if to me they're actually starting to pay attention and realise that maybe the people they put in charge of the football club hasn't exactly got the best judge of character, and it's time for them to wake up and stand in the spotlight and get a grip of what the hell's been happening in this football club. As again, it is widely believed that it was Kevin and Patrick that sat with Russell Martin up to 7 times before bringing him in there. They were the ones that was charmed. They were the ones that believed that he was the guru he pretends that he actually was. So to hear the chairman, both Paraag and Andrew Cavenagh, sit there and tell us that they have their full attention on it and they are involved in the management process now and the recruitment process now is big for this football club, in my opinion, and a stark warning to those underneath them that they're now starting to get glances their way. Because again, without repeating what I said over and over again last night, the buck doesn't stop with Russell Martin. Russell Martin was exactly what it says he was on the tin, and that's a guy that wins about every 3 matches and a guy that's got a win rate of around 30%. That's what he's been at MK Dons, that's what he was at Swansea, that's what he was at Southampton, and that's what he is when you crunch every single number together, which is why I didn't have hatred towards the man. You know what I mean? That's like getting someone that can't swim and chucking him in the ocean and being shocked that he drowns. The guy was never a winning manager at this football club, but the two Ronnies thought that this guy had all the answers and gave him the keys to run this football team and run the stuff on the park, which was again a horrendous decision. So the buck doesn't stop with Martin. The attention does need to be drawn to Kevin and Patrick Stewart, and for me it's nice to hear the actual people that own this club starting to realise that and glancing down and putting that heater on, that they are paying attention and are deeply involved to make sure this time there's no stupid gambles. But again, if they had just left it right there, I think I'd be even happier about this open letter and I would really like it. I think the overall reaction would be better towards it. But what they go on to say next is unfortunately alluding to the fact that Patrick Stewart and Kevin isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and where, yes, they are now paying more attention and getting a bit more hands-on and grabbing and wrestling some of the reins back to this football club, they aren't necessarily ready to boot them off the old sleigh just yet, as they still believe they're worth keeping. As they went on to say, moving forward, we are fully confident in our players who possess the talent and determination to succeed. Can somebody tell? The players. At the same time, a great deal of important work is progressing across the football club, building a stable leadership and football structure under Patrick and Kevin's guidance, advancing detailed plans aligned with our long-term strategy, and beginning the early stages of investment planning for Ibrox. Your focus will be rightly what's happening on the park, or pitch as they put, but this work is also matters and it will help lay the foundation for success in the future. And again, ladies and gentlemen, that's what hits me and that's what stops me from being so freaking excited. It's those that are again a part of the leadership and a part of the future and a part of the planning for this football club. Have you not seen what they've planned so far? They basically turned Ibrox Stadium into a family and friends barbecue. Owners can someday pay attention. Every other day they're hiring a former colleague, a friend, or a family member. That doesn't sound like they are really reaching in and making sure they've got the best possible people. It sounds like they just want to have their people around them, and that's not going to work at this football club. It might make the staff very, very happy because, again, they're all related, but at the same time, does it necessarily mean for each position now filled at this club, do we have the best person for it? Probably no, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I might be badly wrong here, but I just think it's an incredible coincidence. Four massive positions at this football club just happen to be filled by three people that was Everton. That's an incredible coincidence. You know, when you're looking out here, you're scouting, you're speaking to contacts, you're looking for the best in very, very different roles, but every single one of them just happened to be at Everton. It just happened to be all pals, and the only one that wasn't hired for Everton just happens to be the guy for Everton's son. So that's no weird to anybody else. It's not a crazy coincidence. That's just how I feel. And again, I might be too close, I might be too frustrated, but I don't love what's currently happening. I don't like the flops that's getting sent. I don't like the stuff. I don't like the fact that we wasted so much money on a centre-back that doesn't get to play football and a backup striker who looks like he's going to be a backup striker for a very, very long time, whilst this football club doesn't have two for every position, which was a minimum requirement when Steven Gerrard was last year, and he stressed the importance of that for the board at that time. By the way, we do not have a functioning left back, but we spent and splashed the money, over £12 million, on a centre-back that doesn't play and a centre-forward that doesn't look ready to. So I'm not loving with the work they've done so far, but again, it sounds as if the owners of this football club are going to pay closer attention to what's happening, but again, give them the opportunity to get things right. And hell, if they go out there and pick the right decision, if they go ahead and work with a manager that actually has an understanding of what it is at winning, maybe they can learn for each other, and then we can move on, and then we can look back at the Russell Martin era and the Russell Martin disaster and go, but you know what, that was a crazy, crazy time, but we eventually go to right. You can miss one time, you know what I mean? You can make a mistake, you can go for a gamble, you can take a risk and it can completely backfire, but you can't go ahead and do it twice, or again, it will be curtains. And that's what it sounds as if, for me, what's happening in this open statement. They acknowledge the mistakes, they acknowledge the issues, but again, they're willing to give Kevin and Patrick the opportunity to set things right. And it just depends how you feel, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think they deserve an opportunity? Russell Martin never, but again, Russell Martin was never turning around. Can Kevin and Patrick Stewart? You can let me know down in the comment section below how you feel about that one. Now, I'll be honest, the rest of the statement is a bit powder puffy, and you know what I mean, just the normal type of stuff. There's no too much for us to sink our teeth in, but to finish it off, it goes on to say, change is never easy, but we are not deterred by hard work. In fact, we see it as a great opportunity ahead. The season is not over, we have plenty to play for in 4 competitions. You know why you've got plenty to play for in 4 competitions? Because the fans voiced their opinion and took it to the lengths that they did to stop this madness and to stop the cycle of failure that was spiralling out of control. So you can't just be, you say, there's 4 competitions to play for. If it was up to yous, man, we'd be knocked out every one of them before we sacked the guy that should never been hired in the first place. I will let it go. They go on to say, together we are committed to delivering the performances and results that you can be proud of. Your loyalty to this club through thick and thin is something we do not take for granted. We see the effort, we see the emotion you put into supporting Rangers, and it drives us every day. We intend to earn your trust because we all share the same goal, restoring success to Rangers. And if I'm honest, I do like that we end in part there, as again they've admitted they've lost the trust of the fan base, they've lost the faith of the fan base, and what's happened so far this season, you understand why. But that's the statement, and again the reports have been pretty mixed. Some people like it, some people hate it. Very interested to see what you think about it. But again, without sounding and saying the most obvious thing of all time, the next appointment has to be right. And what I didn't want to see, ladies and gentlemen, is a friend of Kevin's or a former colleague of Kevin's that's not got an ounce of winning potential or an ounce of winning on his CV. I didn't want a philosopher that's doing in the English Championship or anything like that that's currently unemployed and would be free and cheap, and he's got a philosophy, another philosophy guru. I didn't care about that. I didn't care about how folk train. I didn't care if they're brilliant with the staff and say good morning every morning. All I care about is getting somebody in that dugout that's going to drag this team back to where it belongs and has a bit about them, a bit of credibility, a bit of respect instantly won and gained from these players because they've been there and done it. I didn't want a guy that's never won none trying to tell players that's never won none how to win. Son, do you know what I mean? I want somebody to come in here that's got something behind the ears. You know what I mean? They've done a wee bit in football and they can help take these young laddies and transform this team that is very raw and rough around the edges, but can transform this team to where we hopefully want to be, and that's back winning things, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a disastrous start to the season, but it doesn't need to be a disastrous season overall if you go ahead and do what you should have done in the summer and bring someone into this football club who's used or has won something in their career. That's all I'm going to say at the minute, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure when some real names and real candidates and real people get spoken to by the club, we'll break it down right here. But right now, just out of curiosity, and I'll just be very interested, if it was up to you right now, what's the name down in the comment section below? Who's your pick for the Rangers manager? Very, very interested. You know what I mean? I think the likes of Steven Gerrard could command that respect. I think the likes of Kevin Muscat has got a great pedigree to winning silverware. I think his play style would be very interesting to watch our team with how lazy they are trying to play that frantic attacking way. But in terms of winning and winning silverware, winning trophies, that's all that guy's been doing. And that's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? That's where currently my head is at. If another name comes up, I can start getting lost in that. I'll do it right now. But I either want somebody that's got a proven track history, been able to win something in this country and knows what Scottish football's about, is not going to turn a nose up to it and think he's better than it, or a guy, again, that's been delivering trophy after trophy and his gain has got a bit of something and demands that respect. That's where I'm at. Where are you? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, if there is an update or if something genuine happens, we'll talk about it right here on the channel. Until then, enjoy the clickbait, enjoy the whirlwind, and enjoy what the couple days, couple weeks could possibly turn into. Let's get lost together in all of the ups and the downs. And until next time, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.